Following is my conversation with Dr. Vasant Barve, founding principal of Kekewag Engineering College, Nasik. I know him as teacher and engineer, and above all, a simple and purest human being. Sir, namaskar, pranam.
Namaskar, pranam.
Sir, thank you पहली बात तो for taking this opportunity and joining. Sir, tell us पहली बात तो how are you doing today? What's your age?
Now you see, I'm born in 1948 November.
अच्छा.
So crossed 80 already.
Mm-hmm.
So I was born before independence, you can say.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoyed my first 15th August also with some sweets. And probably before that, in our village, we used to go around the village, Jai Hind, Mahatma Gandhi ki Jai, Jai Nehru ki Jai, Subhash Babu ki Jai, and so on. So, an old timer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was fortunate that, I have students like Ketan and Sujit who are doing very well. उन्होंने प्रदेश में झंडा लगा दिया है कई लोगों ने और देश में भी.
How are you doing? कैसा चल रहा है आजकल? कोविड के बारे में
आजकल
बताइए.
मैं नासिक में हूँ. जब से कोविड शुरू हो गया, we did not go to North East.
अच्छा.
Otherwise, from 2013 onwards, every year we went to North East, spent there minimum 3 months in a year, and maximum we were there for 8 months. We have Vivekananda Kendra, and they have opened about 70 schools, mainly in Arunachal. And that has helped Arunachali people a lot. And probably, that helped also to keep Arunachal connected with us.
I see.
We got created a lot of goodwill there. And we are fortunate that Arunachal is, you have a number of tribes there. But they have adopted the link language as Hindi. And that is why almost every, even villager, knows better Hindi than Pune, So we had no difficulty in communicating with people. So we went there and went around. My wife is already educationist. She is PhD in education. So she trained teachers, and I helped students in science and mathematics and teachers in computers. I taught them the GeoGebra and all that, and how to make things easy in mathematics and science. In addition, some teachers were not knowing how to type in Hindi, Sanskrit, etc. So we taught that also. And we went around in the village also to contact people. So we enjoyed that. And now we could not do that because of the pandemic.
सर कोविड के बारे में कुछ थॉट्स बताओ. What is your take on it? ये मतलब you have seen a lot, but what about this whole?
नहीं, क्या है, in our childhood we had epidemics. Like, my eldest brother, he died of cholera. Almost every year, somewhere or the other, cholera used to break up. And my father-in-law remembers once in his village, he was a strong young man. He said in a day they had to carry some 10 to 15 bodies, They were all exhausted by the cholera. Typhoid also was there. But this epidemic is probably, after about 100 years, this has come. I lost my grandparents in the epidemic of that 1918 and 1919. So this is similar to that. That was known in Marathi as Man Modi. I don't know whether it was a bird flu or something, but that was great. In that, some families were totally wiped out in 1918. So this is something of that kind. But now we have got lot of help in the form of hospitals, etc. So death rate is not that high, but fear is there now everywhere. So and that has affected our, economic condition of the nation, and even psychologically people are suffering. It's too bad, and it's throughout the world.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Now, when there is a lot of things about the COVID in US. People have this controversy whether you should take vaccine, whether you should use mask. ये सब चीज़ें, there are people who believe कि mask doesn't help, or people who believe vaccination is yeah, it's not good, or something is going to happen if they vaccinate. So, what
Now,
is your
in
take on it?
India, all common people have already taken 2 doses of vaccine. Initially, there was a resistance. You see, we have politics dominating everywhere.
I see.
So they used to call this as BJP vaccine in Uttar Pradesh, those Samajwadi Party, and so that we will not take that BJP vaccine. And they went even to the extent of telling Muslims that this will make them important, and all this nonsense was going on. But somehow, uh, you know, we have come out of that, and we are making records. That every day lakhs of people are getting vaccinated, and that is helping a lot,
Yeah,
uh, psychologically as well as medically.
yeah.
In both ways, this vaccine has benefited, and we started making our own vaccine. We exported to so many countries. We helped them. Unfortunately, so far as oxygen generation was concerned, we were lacking, but now we are making up soon. Soon we'll be totally self-sufficient in these matters.
Right, right,
So
right.
nothing to worry. Another 2-3 months probably it will die out. Right now in Kerala and Maharashtra, we are still leading, but somehow it will subside now.
Correct, correct. So let me switch gears. Let's talk about your this last thing you talked about was the schools in Arunachal Pradesh that you are teaching,
Yeah,
and general state of education overall. Like you said, Arunachal Pradesh. I'm sure there are areas within India which also have the same problem of lack of teachers. Number one, lack of good teachers. Number one,
yeah,
and then also this whole thing of infrastructure, where obviously if school is there and a board is there, you can teach only so much, right? So you need some
yeah, yeah, yeah.
tools to teach, and so what is your take on that? Are
Right,
we
right.
moving forward? Where do you see?
Yeah, yeah. We are definitely moving forward. Unfortunately, in all these things, we are still very much dependent on China. So I feel that people who are already in this hardware field in probably US and other countries, they should some of them should come back in India and start their own business, because now the atmosphere is very good under Modi government.
Okay.
Otherwise, before that, there is a lot of problem. You had one company, I don't remember his name, some Punjabi was there, was making the CDs. He had set up a unit in Mumbai uh, long back when we were student, and then he had to wind up within 3 months because of the strikes and all that. So all that thing deterred us from doing. Even Nasik had a unit of what they call used to Meltron, and they were thinking of making chips and all that. But all that effort has gone haywire. Rajiv Gandhi had started one factory of computers in Chandigarh, and if you remember, we had purchased those 3-4 computers in which Shantanu did a lot of work. He did some animations also on that. That was the computer with BBC Acorn was the name. But then that factory was burned down by some extremist, and we have never come out of all those things, and we are dependent on China. Our dependency on China to be removed. Now, because of the pandemic, almost every school is now having infrastructure. Only thing is the range, etc., is still a problem. But we are solving that. So there is not a school in which we don't have smart boards now. Almost all Arunachal schools, they have the smart boards to teach. The bandwidth so far as the internet is concerned is not to that extent, but it will soon be there. We are not to worry. Everywhere now these glass fiber connections are there, so it's not much of issue. We have come a long way from what we were in when we were in college. So I did not get the uh, I mean electricity in my house till I completed my graduation. But now position is quite good. Okay, right.
सर आपके घर में अभी वॉशिंग मशीन है? डू यू हैव अ वॉशिंग मशीन?
Yes, washing machine is there in my village also, and we have RO everywhere. That is reverse osmosis water.
Water filter.
So that is why we don't have this typhoid and other things. So we are totally free of that.
Yeah.
And we can take well water now. See, normally in the villages, the well water used to be with a very bad taste. The reason may be that we consume lot of salts, and that gets into soil and slowly it percolates to the well. So in my village it was like this, that village well had a very bad taste water, whereas the field wells had good taste water. So we used to fetch water from field back to home, you know, maybe on horseback or on shoulder sometimes. But now our well water, we get it filtered through RO, and it's fine now. There's no issue. So now water problem has totally been solved, and that is why we don't have cholera, typhoid. These things are not heard of now. Otherwise, in my childhood, almost every year we used to take anti-cholera, anti-typhoid injections.
Correct.
But now they are not even heard of. Okay, so that is fine situation. So all these equipment, even a small flour mill in house, they have also percolated in the villages now. So there is no problem. Still in Maharashtra, we don't get 24-hour electricity in villages, but it doesn't matter. People are managing with that.
I see. So let me rewind back. You mentioned about BBC Micro. So we are going in a non-linear fashion. So let me rewind back a little bit. I remember those BBC Micros that we had used, Acorn or Micros, whatever you call it, back in 1985. Of course, we had to fight for the time. I think we had two of them. Sujit may remember how many were there, but yeah, I think there are only two. And
Three were there.
Three were there. Okay. Oh, one was reserved for professors, most probably. So something like that, and that was the time. But rewinding back further, in the sense ki you were the principal. My first brush with you came as I came for admission, and that's when I met you. So my recollection is the same. I know you have aged 80 के ऊपर हो गया अभी कुछ. You have any health problems, sir? कोई problem है? How many medicines you take?
नहीं, कोई ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. एक छोटी सी गोली है ब्लड प्रेशर की.
अच्छा, वो लेते हो?
हाँ, कैल्शियम के एक टैबलेट लेता हूँ.
अच्छा. So no major issues.
थोड़ा बैक पेन है, लेकिन अभी 1-2 किलोमीटर तो हर रोज चलता ही हूँ.
अच्छा.
हाँ, और मैं अरुणाचल जाता हूँ तो कोई प्रॉब्लम है नहीं अभी तक.
Good. तो गोइंग बैक, सो उससे भी पहले जाते हैं थोड़ा सा. टेल अस अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट योर चाइल्डहुड. आपने जिक्र तो किया, यू ऑलरेडी मेंशन अबाउट योर विलेज एंड स्टफ लाइक दैट. ऑफ कोर्स आई वांट टू हियर अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट योर फादर, especially because I think what I understand is, parents form the children. A lot of things come from there, and one thing we know that you're very simple, like you're not very extravagant and all that. So tell us the genesis of that. What do you remember about your father? What's your, recollection of your mother, your childhood, whatever you can share.
Yes. No. See, I was fortunate to have both parents. I can't describe, how much they did for us.